Nations final, having missed out to this. One kick of the ball by Didier Drogba. Yeah, it's the greatest night in Chelsea's history. Champions of Europe at last.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Blue Stands YouTube channel. And then, how are you guys doing? It's been a while since we've had a guest on, and today we've got Tom, who's a Twitter personality, the owner of all things Chelsea as well. A great guy, and personally I've known him for a very long time, so we're delighted to have him on. Before we do get on with the video, I would really like everyone to hit the like button and subscribe as well. I think we're very close to 400 subscribers, and we'd like to get there and push on to the other ones, thick and fast. And you'd probably notice that our main host Miz is probably missing today, and unfortunately he's had a few personal reasons, I think family matters today to attend to, which is why he can't be joining us. So I'll be your host, your tentative host for today. Hope you guys enjoy. So Tom, anything to just kick things off?
Well, just looking forward to the game. I mean, so glad we could kick off with a win against Brighton, and just hoping we can do something against Liverpool, but it's going to be a very tough game.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just start. Let's just get right into it then. I mean, I can't wait personally. Before we do, I just wanted to say that Tom was the host on my first ever recording for the YouTube channel. First, like long back, about a year and a half back. Exactly. It was me, you, and Nishal, I think. So it's excellent to have you on here.
It was.
Yeah. So.
Yes. Memories. Great memories.
Exactly. So it's great for me to be hosting and you being the guest, huh? All right. Anyway, getting into it right away, I think the first things first, the Klopp and Lampard rivalry, which has been brewing off late. I think it started with Jurgen Klopp making a few comments saying that not all clubs are owned by Russian oligarchs who can, fund transfers. And personally, Chelsea fans have trashed that. I think Lampard himself has trashed that, because that's such a hypocritical statement, because prior to this window, Liverpool have been spending absolutely insane amounts on so many players. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you think, I'm pretty sure you'll say that it's baseless, but then what do you think was running through his mind when he said that? Was he just jealous of the transfers that we've been able to get done this window?
No, so I think personally, right, I'm no big fan of Jurgen Klopp. I think if you can follow my Twitter, I tweeted yesterday, I think not only, I don't mind arrogant managers, but arrogant when they try and say that they've done such an impossible job and that their club is above everyone else. That's where I kind of draw the line. Like, Pep I respect a lot, very arrogant man. I don't necessarily like it, but I respect it. And he admits when he's spent. Klopp seems incapable of doing that, and it makes me fuming because of the way that he puts Liverpool and Dortmund as if he only manages pure football clubs. So that's firstly from where I'm stood. Second, from my view, the reason why I think he said it is because I think he wants to get a reaction out of Lampard on Sunday. So the league game at Anfield, he got Frank Lampard going, one league title, and you're giving it the big one, which I think was brilliant, by the way. I think he wants Lampard to lose his nerve during the game, and it might cloud his decisions. A little bit how Mourinho used to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
That's why I got it. I don't think he's jealous at all, actually. I think as much as he might have liked an extra signing, he's getting Thiago. He's got the Greek left back, I think he is.
Simistas,
Simistas, yeah. I think he'd like another signing. Realistically, he probably knew he wasn't going to get it. He would never talk against the Liverpool board. So I think he's just doing it to get something out of Lampard. And we've just got to hope Lampard doesn't rise to it.
Yeah, I think that mind games is a good point, actually. I think he's been laying the foundations like Mourinho to probably get some hasty decisions out of Lampard there. Anyway, moving on to another Liverpool-related topic before I hand the handle off to Kunal. Timo Werner, right? I think he probably him scoring against Klopp and then celebrating in front of him would be peak, wouldn't it, Tom?
Oh, that would make my 2020. 2020 has been a pretty rotten year, but that would make it. That would be, and if he scores, he's got to go up to Klopp, give it the big one. That's what I want to see, all right? And if I see that, my 2020's been made. I have to say. It doesn't take much these days. That would be it for me.
Yeah.
honestly, I think that especially because he was so close, right? I think like he had been tapping him on for months, and we've spoken about this on end on several occasions. But yeah, I think that would really be an interesting. How do you think Timo Werner's probably going to play though in the game? I think we'll get your lineups in later. But then, do you think he could start as the lone striker or probably off Giroud or Tammy?
So, right, yeah, you mentioned tapping up. And before I answer the question, a point you make about tapping up. Jurgen Klopp, such a really nice man, such a great manager who doesn't buy players. I seem to remember him tapping up a certain Virgil van Dijk. Being reported by Southampton. So, again, such a humble manager, eh? So, in terms of Werner, I think it depends on whether Lampard wants to play Giroud, or whether he's comfortable putting Mount on the left and Havertz in the middle. Again, I personally wouldn't do that. Personally, I'd like to see Werner on the left and either Giroud or Tammy up top. I would say probably Giroud, but if it's Tammy, again, no problem from my end.
Excellent stuff. So then I'll hand things off to Kunal. Then you could probably start with the Werner bit and then move on to your questions. I've been hogging up all the talking.
No, man. Cheers for the opportunity, Ameya. Well, I guess I just my own personal take about the Werner situation that you guys just mentioned. And I also absolutely agree on the fact that Klopp's recent holier than you sort of an approach is not really doing him any favors, because it's, as you said, hypocritical at its absolute best, because we all remember Virgil van Dijk. You got the world record fee for a centre-back. You also got a world record fee, at least for a few hours, for the new goalkeeper, until, of course, we went about with a panic buy. So, I mean, in the modern, why you have to be so much, pretentious about it? Because in today's football, you have to spend the money to win the trophies, because it's just the way it goes. So, why you want to make it sound like that? And with Timo Werner, as a Chelsea fan, that we didn't join Merseyside at the end of the day, but like he would have fit the Klopp system like a glove, to be honest. And on the subject of players, who fit the Klopp system like a glove, I think I'll have to add a little bit personal take on the Thiago Alcantara saga, to be honest. I'll just quickly like to say that Liverpool, in my opinion, have just plugged themselves an absolute bargain. Despite the man's age, 30 million euros for a player of that quality is an absolute pocket change. And it's not like he's ancient or anything. He wasn't plucking the ball around with Queen Victoria 200 years ago or something. Like, he's a seasoned campaigner who is, just gave a man of the match performance in a Champions League final just about a month or so ago. I'm a huge fan of the Spaniard. Like, Thiago just seems like a player Liverpool's midfield was crying out loud for. And this is where I like to ask Tom as well, like how much he rates Thiago Alcantara, how well he thinks that he'll fit the system, and like does it even further strengthen the Liverpool squad, who were actually looking favourite anyway for the title. What are your thoughts on the particular move, Tom?
So, yeah, I think it's a great signing for them. I'm very glad he's not playing on Saturday. He's not been registered in time. So that's
12 p.m. has passed.
12 p.m, isn't it? So I'm glad about that. I think he's a good player. I'd be interested to see how Klopp uses him, because I remember when he played, I think it was Lallana as a Jorginho type player in a friendly, I think last summer. Whether he plays him as the main sort of distributor or whether he plays him kind of as a destroyer type midfielder or a sort of centre-back, either centre-mid, either at the left or the right. I think probably he'll play him as a defensive mid, but then he's got Jordan Henderson there, who Liverpool fans seem to think is one of the best. So I think it'll be a tough one to square exactly how he gets him in. He will get in the side, or whether maybe he's tempted to go to like a 4-2-3-1, but it doesn't seem like he wants to do that. But yeah, it's a very good signing. It's one, though, that again, it's been a slightly light window for them. And it reminds me a little bit of when Chelsea were champions and we signed Pedro. Again, another great player, come from a top club. Obviously obviously it's a weird parallel, I know, but he's achieved all there is in the game. You know, he's won the Liga, won the Bundesliga so many times. He's won the Champions League. And he's somebody that should, in theory, add an extra layer of quality and experience to Liverpool again. As I say, whether their side is as good as last year, though, is a different question. And I'm not sure his addition might change that, but I'm not sure that they're going to already be quite as good as last year.
Yeah, man, so true. Because you see that Liverpool, I think they have cracked the code in terms of how they want their midfield to function, because they have got these workhorses. I mean, it's no secret at this point. They have these industrious sort of midfielders who are not really too much of world class in any sort of scenarios. Like, they're not progressors of the ball, they're not dribblers, and they're not monsters like Kante. But they just go about their business in such a professional manner, and they'll just sprint around for 90 odd minutes. It lets the other guy around them do their thing. I mean, we all know that Alexander-Arnold is able to, you know, people say he spams crosses, which I don't agree with, but he's able to do his thing, which he's good at, just because he has that insurance of having the guys like Fabinho and Werner, the man, even Henderson. He can expect them to be in the box when it matters and when they are facing actual counterattacks. So now, obviously, it would be a shame if we just end the video without actually, you know, talking about the game that's coming on. And it's really, I cannot just for the life of me wait for the match, you know, I just want to skip these 2 days and just get on live. And this is an exciting time. The thing is, no matter how hard one tries, there will always be a spark of fantasy and partiality into it. Now, on the subject of these score predictions, like if I have to start with my own, so even though I am aware of the dynamite that Liverpool team possesses, I will view the prediction with my blue tinted glasses on. So the absolute fan in me says that this might be just a script for the Timo show to go, and we emerge out of it with the victory. Like, that's what the heart says. But, you know, heart says a lot of things, doesn't mean it's right. But so I'll simmer down the temptation because I'm aware of the threat of the Merseyside team. So I'll go with it. I'm starting off with my prediction, and then obviously I'll forward it to you guys. So I'll go with a 2-2 draw on this one. I think that there will be goals in the game. Chelsea, as we all know, has a good back four, but a poor goalkeeper, honestly. And I don't want to.
Since when do we have a good back four?
Well, we face 8.5 shots a game, man. That's the second best record in PL. So I don't think you can expect too much to improve in that sense. Like 8.5 shots is like the fourth best in the Europe top 5 league, if I remember correctly. So Liverpool have also shown the cracks in their armor too. Like, they have started to look little bit complacent at the back, maybe because of the achievements they have acquired in the last 2-3 seasons. So while the scoreline might end up being very different from what I'm saying, I do predict it that there is an opportunity for the forwards in both the camps to stat pad a little bit. So yeah, I personally go with a 2-2 draw in the game, and a game that's filled with excitement, some spicy confrontations. I'm not lying. And maybe a few grumpy faces, you know. I predict them to put on a show, basically. I'll just like to forward it to Tom as well, like what his predictions are and what he expects from the game.
It's a tough one, but I've gone for 1-1. And the reason I went for 1-1 is because I think it will be a game where Lampard actually comes out, gets it spot on. We'll take the lead. I think there's a good chance either Werner or Giroud score, give us a lead. And then Liverpool will come back into it, play like champions. And I fear there'll be a late equaliser, a little bit like in 2018 when Daniel Sturridge just scored that world.
Yeah.
I actually have a feeling Lampard's going to get it right, but I'm not sure we're going to capitalise. I'm not sure it's going to be the goal fest we all think, because Liverpool know they've got to work on the defence. Chelsea know that that's an accident waiting for them. Like, they know that they can't give Kepa a shot. You know, Liverpool will be told, have a pop if you've got the ball on the edge of the D. You know what Kepa's like. I'm certain that managers are telling players to do that personally. And I'm sure that there'll be a screening midfielder that will be there to stop them doing that almost throughout the whole game. It's to say if he plays Kante and Kovacic as a pivot, or Kante and Jorginho, one of those two will be set aside to stop the long shots on the edge of the D. Because that is where Chelsea have suffered, not only generally, but specifically against Liverpool. They always seem to score worldies. And I'm convinced that's why.
Fair enough.
True, man.
Fair enough. Well, I think I'll probably be my optimistic self. I think I'm predicting, as you mentioned, I think there's going to be a lot of goals. So I'm going to go with a 3-2 win for us. I think it's going to be an absolute goal fest and a thriller. But I think we can get the win, honestly. I think for some reason, I'm feeling fairly confident. And that's not a good thing, actually. We might as well end up losing this game now that I said it. But I'm positively going for a 3-2 result. If you want, we could just quickly touch upon the lineups as well. First, I'll go to Tom, and then I'll go to Kunal. Tom, what do you think the formation is going to look like in the people who are going to feature?
So as much as I would like a 4-3-3, personally, I think it's got to be a 4-3-3 variant. So either the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1. If it's a back three, I'm sat in front of my screen, eyeing and banging my head against the table. Yeah. I'm going to say 4-2-3-1, but it could be 4-3-3. But either for me is fine, to be honest with you.
Yeah, fair enough. And who do you think is going to feature in the back four? Because I think Alonso's played the last match, but then I think so who do you think would be the 4, the 3, and probably the 3? Also interesting. Do you think that Caballero could start instead of Kepa, especially because of how Kepa has been playing this past few games?
I hope not, to be honest with you.
Right.
I think Caballero's. Once we get Mendy in, I think Caballero's not going to feature a lot this year at all. And I don't think that's the way to go. I mean, Kepa, yes, he could have saved that Trossard shot. But I think some of the criticism on that has been a bit overboard. Even though, as much as I think it was savable, there's a point where you've just got to accept that with those, he's got quite a serious problem. For me, it would be Kepa, just kind of out of not wanting to play. I don't want Caballero playing as our first choice. It makes my brain die inside me that we have Willy Caballero at 39 playing for Chelsea, you know, as much as I like the guy. So then my back four would be, as much as I think Alonso can do it on a good day, I would probably put Aspi on the left, Reece James on the right, and I'd look at Zuma and Christensen in the back two. That's definitely my back four, to be honest with you. Picks itself.
Fair enough. And up front, you mentioned that Giroud will probably feature for you. Werner on the left, I guess, and then Hudson-Odoi probably on the right?
Yeah, I think so. Possibly a bit of Mason Mount, but if it's a 4-2-3-1, then I'd be more inclined to put Mount in the centre. So I'll go into my midfield three, and then I'll move further forward. A 3 would be Kante, Kovacic, and Mason Mount a little bit further on. Again, if that's a 4-3-3, it's fine. That works as well. And then it would be Hudson-Odoi, Werner, Giroud probably.
Yeah.
Everyone's going, and I've heard a lot, why are you dropping Havertz? It gives the wrong impression. No. The guy didn't look fully fit or accustomed the other day.
No, I agree entirely.
Bring him on after 70 minutes and he could weave some magic, you know. I'm not sure he's ready to start against the champions.
Yeah, no, I agree completely, man. I actually had the same lineup in mind, like
me too. You won't believe, actually. Yeah.
Exactly, and I'd personally prefer it to be a 4-3-3, as you mentioned, because I think they predominantly use the 4-3-3 system as well. And I think that, you know, with Firmino dropping back at, the wingers often have a lot of space. So I'd personally prefer us to match them. And then, so that if Firmino does drop back, then we have Kante at the base to, try and stop him as well. And Azpilicueta, the left is a must, actually, I think, because Trent Alexander-Arnold likes to get front so many times, and we have to have someone who knows how to defend. I'm sorry to say this to Alonso, but we have to know someone who knows how to defend on the left-hand side. And I think Werner on the left could also cause a lot of problems for Trent. I think that, him bombarding front. I think he has great pace, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is, not exactly the best at tracking back, if I can say that. So I think that could be an interesting one as well. So Kunal, you want to add anything? Oh, I think Tom wants to say.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm not sold on the idea of Kante as the anchor, by the way. It's not an idea that sits particularly well with me. I'm willing to do it because I'm sure Lampard likes it. And a part of me thinks I'd like to see Kovacic drop back if Kante's struggling. And that's why I wouldn't mind a 4-2-3-1, like a kind of defensive 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
Understandable.
In the longer term, I'm not sold on it, on Kante there. That's just a kind of, just a more general point, I suppose. And I worry with his injuries longer term, whether that's feasible exactly. But for the moment, if it were up to only me, it would be Jorginho in that base. But I know that Lampard doesn't like it. So I'm not going to waste time kind of saying, having a rant about that, because it's not something that's serious.
Yeah. Spot on. I'm in complete agreement with you there about the Jorginho bit. Kunal?
I mean, if the Lampard is to employ the same formation, then I pretty much would like to go with both of you, with just one exception. And don't come at me like I understand.
We know what's coming. We know what's coming.
I understand the argument you made, Tom, about Kepa starting in goal, but I think it would be a heart in my mouth moment every time, because Liverpool are a team that will take 50 shots a game, and I just want to be, hiding my face in fear every time I see ball at the feet of any of their players, any 10 of their outfield players. Willy Caballero, I think, is not Chelsea quality, but he's not the worst in Europe sort of a quality statistically. So, I don't want to bash the guy too much. I think I do that quite often, and I don't like it. I think Kepa with me just for my own personal, safety of mind, serenity. I just want Caballero in goal for this game. And if it was up to me, however, I don't mind a 5 at the back system, to be honest, against such a side. If Thiago Silva is 50, 60, 70% feeling it, I think I'd like to check him in the squad, man. Like a back three.
I think Lampard confirmed that Thiago Silva is not going to play.
If he isn't, then of course fair enough. We pretty much agree on it in terms of formation and the people inside that system as well. Oli Giroud, we obviously can use his height, man, in defensive phase as well, as much as he's a threat in set pieces on both sides of the pitch. And we all know Werner at his best during his Leipzig days was a guy who likes to play with the striker and the target man, as he has been doing for a couple of years. He's quite threatening in that. And that will also keep, Trent Alexander-Arnold in his own half on his toes. Werner can easily skin past him in a moment. So SP would be on the left back position for me, because we saw how Tariq Lamptey absolutely annihilated. Absolutely annihilated, man. He was I don't know, man, prime Roberto Carlos on the right side for me. It was absolutely an eye-soaring moment for the whole 90 minutes. So, we pretty much agree on that. Just not the goalkeeper position for me, but that's been the case for me for quite a while. So, I guess no real surprises there.
Yeah, fair enough. Quickly, then, just to recap, Kunal, you're going 2-2. Tom, you're going 1-1. And I'm going to go with a 3-2 victory. All right, then. So on that optimistic note, hopefully I'm right once again. I did get the previous prediction of 3-1 right against Brighton. So let's hope that this one comes true as well. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. We've talked a lot, actually. We've talked about the preview. We've talked about Timo Werner. We've talked about Thiago Alcantara. And we've also covered a bit of the Klopp and Lampard rivalry. So it's been a great episode, Tom. It's been an absolute delight to have you on. I don't think we've recorded together, both of us, for quite a while. So it's been a great chat, and we can't wait to have you back. And any closing thoughts, mate?
Yeah, just thanks for having me, guys. Check out All Things Chelsea. It's a site I own as well. I don't want to plug too much, but I'm on Twitter at Tovers98 as well. But basically, thanks for having me on. It's been my pleasure, and anytime I'm here for you guys.
Excellent. Yeah. Great stuff, man. So I think that brings us to the end of the episode. We, of course, dearly missed Miz in today's episode. He's such a great presence to have, but unfortunately, he couldn't be here with us today. But I think we've done a pretty good job as well. I think Miz will be proud when he sees this video that his little boys are doing well. But so it's been great to have you on, Matt. To everyone listening, I think we'd love for you once again to drop a like, comment on the video as well, and subscribe if you can. We really, really want to grow this channel as fast as possible and make basically all our international fans' voice heard. So I think it would be really great if you could do that. So then, until next time, in Mrs. Style, see ya.